A dead man painting my picture? Heh heh. Yes, dear reader, it is a dead man. Don't you smell the graveyard dirt? Can't you see his rotting, decomposing flesh? Heh heh. His name? Well, he was John Wayland, but now I call him the man from the grave. On a warm May evening last year, the earth shook loosely. The eerie moon beamed down on a rotting hand that lifted with insane fury through the grave mold. The hand moved. It ripped and tore crazily at the grave dirt, tore handfuls loose, dug frenzied talons again and again into the soft loam until no grave can hold me, not when I have a task that calls me, that summons me from my final sleep. I must rise from this coffin, rise and continue my work. With thumping, sodden steps, the dead man walked the graveyard paths. Nothing must stop me. Nothing. My work. It calls me back from the grave. I must finish my work. Finish it. Merciful heavens, I feel sick. Heh heh. A pretty sight on the moonlit night, eh? A dead man lumbering along the sidewalks, smelling of the grave, but where is he going? What strange work calls him from the grave? Curious? Let's turn over the musty pages of the past and go back some years to a cold October afternoon in an eastern city. John Wayland was alive then, young and handsome, but poor. Some painter I am. I can't sell a thing. I can't even earn enough to buy myself a loaf of bread and a bottle of milk. The only encouraging news he ever got was from a magazine editor. I know you paint mysterious and horrible things, Wayland. A lot of folks don't go for it, but I like macabre things, but I can't use it. Sorry. Finally, John Wayland was forced to pawn his paintings in order to eat. It's charity, that's what it is. These things aren't worth anything, but you never can tell. I might sell them sometime. Thank you. Thank you. One morning, shortly after John had pawned everything he owned, there was a knock on his door. Special delivery for John Wayland. Special delivery for me? But I don't know anybody who would write to me. It's from that editor who liked my stuff. He's getting out a new horror magazine. Wants me to do its covers for him. I'll get a contract. Money, at last. Sure, I'll give you a contract. But you'll have to bring in your samples again. I've got to show them to the big boss. But my pictures, I had to pawn them. Just my luck. The first big break I get, I lose out on. If I could only get my pictures back, or paint some more, maybe I'd still get the contract. Give you your pictures without money? Ha ha ha. I may be old, son, but I'm not crazy. Ha ha. Please, please. You don't know what this means to me. My big chance. If I don't show that editor some samples, I'll lose it. Only one hope left. I've got to see my old friend, Billy Johnson. He always helped me in the past. He'll help me one more time. I know he will. Bill Johnson greeted his friend with harsh words and cold sneers. Help you? Again? After all the times I've loaned you money in the past? You're just a cheap bum, Wayland. Nobody'd give you a job. Who are you trying to kid? I'm not lying. It's true. It's true. Now, get out and stay out. I never want to see you again. You're a cheap, spineless bum. A no-good, a worthless slug. I'll never get that job now. I'm really washed up. Suddenly, the dams of John Wayland's restraint burst. Like a demonic thing, he hurled himself on his old friend. You could loan me money to redeem my pictures. You have plenty of it. You'd never miss a measly $15, but no. John, watch out. I need that cover job, you hear? I need to eat, to live. I knocked him out, but I'll do more than that. I'm gonna kill him. Then I won't have to redeem my old pictures. I'll be able to take his paints and brushes to paint new and better ones. John Wayland dragged his old friend close to a big vat of etching acid. Then, lifting his head, he plunged it downward toward the acid, just as Johnson recovered consciousness. "John, stop! No! No! Don't do this to me, John! Ah! I'll take plenty of paint and brushes, everything I need. That fool Johnson. Why didn't he give me the $15? He'd be alive now." John Wayland made a mistake. Bill Johnson wasn't dead. Not quite. He was almost dead. But there was still a spark of life left. So, look for yourself, dear reader, if you dare. John Wayland, I see you stealing my paints and brushes. Take them if you want, but remember, I am cursing them. Use them, and you'll always have to use them. Never resting, always working, day and night, forever and ever. Cursing me. What a laugh. As if a dead man's curse could ever affect a living person. Use your paints? You bet your life I'll use them. Bet your life. A joke. Ha ha. Feverishly, John Wayland threw himself into a frenzy of painting, anxious to make up for time. He threw paint on canvas with sure, dexterous speed. Wait till the editor sees this picture. All that day and all that night, John Wayland worked. Covered with perspiration, his eyelids heavy with the need of rest, he worked on. He wants samples, does he? I'll give him samples, 10 of them, each one better and more horrible than the rest. Next day. They're terrific, Wayland, terrific. You've caught the mood exactly. Terror, horror. The big boss likes them, so you're in. I'm giving you a lot of money for each cover. You can make a fortune if our book clicks. And it sure ought to, with these covers of yours. Right. I'll get rich at these prices. John Wayland went to work with a will. He never rested. Always, at any hour of the night, his lights were on as he painted and painted, madly, wildly. I ought to rest, but I don't want to rest. I'm in a mood to paint. And I will. John Wayland was in the mood to paint, wasn't he? All well and good, for a little time. But read on, my dear friends, read on. Remember the dying man's curse? Of course you do. And so will John Wayland, after a while. I brought in some more cover jobs, Jim. Look them over. Sure thing, John. The magazine is selling like hotcakes, so I can use some, but don't get too far ahead. But John Wayland could not stop painting. The glistening paints of the murdered artist beckoned him like some strange magnet. I can't stop. I must go on painting, even if he doesn't need covers. I've worked for 33 hours, steadily, not stopping even for a drink of water. I can't go on, but I must, for I can't stop. Use my paints and you will always have to use them, never resting, always working, forever and ever. Merciful heavens, no, no, no! John Wayland painted all right. He kept on, night and day, but the market for his paintings was gone. For Pete's sake, John, I'm about a year ahead on your stuff. I can't possibly use any more. Go take a vacation. You're overworking. Month after month, day and night, John Wayland labored in his little garret studio. He developed a hacking cough. His body grew thin, wraith-like. His fingers, exhausted with brushwork, trembled and shook. One day he fell to the floor and did not get up. He's dead. The poor man. He worked himself to death, he did. No rest, no time for laughter or fun. And now, the grave will shelter him. He must have made a lot of money with all that work he did. Lord knows he never spent any of it. I wonder where he kept it. It won't do any harm if I look around. What's that? Sounds like footsteps, but not natural steps. Almost like they were made by leg stumps. I could not stay away from my work. There are my paints and brushes, still as good as ever. Got to work and keep on working. Never rest, forever and ever, to work and paint, even though I smell of the carnal house and the grave. Hey, well, that's my story, dear friends. I'll bet that if I took a canvas of you readers right now, I'd find some of you screaming too, just like that poor old landlady. Did you notice how pale and pallid she looked? Oh, by the way, she's recovered now, doing nicely too, but she snubbed on out of the insane asylum. Seems that every time she sees a painting, she goes mad over it.